Right, what's up guys, back with a new video. We're going to try our best to kind of, in the most fair way possible. I know fair is not something that's ever kind of looked at with any real realism. And it's going to take me a long time to believe in the true natures of football again, in the true natures of winning, deserving to win, etc., etc., for obvious reasons. But we're going to try our best to review yesterday, piece by piece. So yeah, let's crack on. First things first, we're going to look at each team's performance. For me personally, the first half, Forest slightly edged it. I don't think either team played anything really good at all. I thought, actually looking back, it was a really dull first half and second half. But looking at the first half, Forest had a couple of half chances. So the ball got put into the box and it's come off Colwell into our net. There's not much we can do about that. It's quite lucky, to be honest, in my opinion. But a goal's a goal. If one team were to take the lead in that half, I would have said that Forest, like I say, slightly edged it. So I can look at it that way. Didn't create all first half. We didn't really create anything second half. But obviously that's not the problem, because yeah, we had no shots on target, which is our own fault, trying to walk it in the net. But at the same time, there would have been two opportunities to have two shots on target. And that's more than zero. And obviously we'll get on to that in just a bit. But yeah. It's done now. Nothing can change it. But yeah, we're going to be in the Championship next season. And Forest are going to be in the Prem. So that's just the harsh reality, really, of it. Like I say, there's not what we can do. But looking at the second half, we passed it about really well. Russell coming on helped us a bit, but he were a bit slow at times. Want that urgency. We won't win in the second ball that much. More so in the second half than in the first half, but in the game as a general, we didn't win the second ball. But I think we played much better in the second half, and we really got closer to getting chances created, although we didn't have any shots on target. So I think, as much as I can, there were a couple of instances with Forest fouls where they really should have been booked earlier, but we all know why they weren't booked earlier. And that's the next part we're going to get onto. We're going to get onto the big part of the day, and that was the officiating. Now, I'll just start this before I go on a rant and say that I have a lot of respect for Nottingham Forest as a club and for their bunch, which is a big bunch of, respectful fans that I spoke to yesterday, and I wish them fans as people the best. I think that's the best way I can say it. I wish everyone, the best, really. But for me, I am fighting really hard in my mind to think that this result wasn't predetermined. But based off yesterday and the decisions we've had over the season, I don't think I can fight that at the moment. I think I am made up in my mind truly that this match was rigged. And I can't believe I'm actually at a point where I actually say that with my own words. But when you've got loads of people around the country who are massive in the sport, the likes of Ramsdale, Laurent of Reading, Ali McCoist, and I'm going to show some tweets in just a moment. But yeah, that match for me was fixed. In some aspects, it was like WWE, which I've not looked at since I was a kid. But besides the point, it's almost like it was like a storyline ending. It was predetermined. And this is not sour grapes. This is not me being a sore loser. Because over the course of the season, both teams have been brilliant. But all I'm saying is, based off the decisions that we're going to talk about, there is no way in a million years that they are not penalties. Look at the first one. Toffolo's running into the box. Yeah, it's quick. There's contact in the box. The game's a modern one now. It's not like in the olden days where, you could get away with a lot worse. Contact in the box. Toffolo's running at speed. He's gone down from contact. Penalty. Simple, blatant, obvious. You have given a referee who is retiring, who can have no repercussions to his absolute shit over job. There's no interviews, because refs don't get interviewed. There's no nothing. He doesn't have to explain himself. He walks home, drives home in his Range Rover, and not a spare thought. Meanwhile, we're out of pocket £180 million because he couldn't do his job right. Now, yeah, we have to score the penalties, but at least we would have had 2 more shots on target. Because I really don't think we would have missed the target, And yeah, Samba is a good penalty saver, but 2 penalties, sorry, I'm backing us to score both, if not definitely 1 penalty out of those 2. But you've given it to John Moss, who has never given us anything in his life. And he lives 30 minutes from us in Leeds. So if that couldn't give you any more of a inclination, yes, I'm aware he's a Sunderland fan, but he still lives in Leeds, who dislike Huddersfield Town. And I'm opening tweets today, maybe it's just rumours, apparently John Moss is friends with Steve Cooper's dad. So, I'd like to say I'm surprised at this, but I'm really not. It's just fruit of the same poisonous tree time and time again. And obviously the Forest fans will ask the question why they weren't given a penalty in the Bournemouth game. Do you know what? You'd say I were paranoid maybe, but I think maybe they did that on purpose so that Forest would go up through the playoffs to give them more money. But we're all aware who was wanted to go up. And the officiating speaks volumes that they got what they wanted. Not even a second look in. The second penalty, for me, they're both stonewallers. They're both just as bad as each other. The second one, again, same. Kicked his calf. Contact in the box, not got the ball both times. 2 Stonewall penalties. Would have been if it was Forest. And like I say, it can seem sour grapes, it can seem this. My problem is not with Nottingham Forest Football Club, or their fans really. My problem is with the refereeing and how everyone has hyped Forest up in the past 2 weeks running up to this. And it begs the question, going back to their officiating, Toffolo got fouled in the first 9 seconds at Luton. No penalty. Fouled at home to Luton. No penalty. We've had 4 penalty shouts spanning over 3 different games in the playoffs and not had 1 penalty. They couldn't make it any obvious. And whilst we're on topic, Samba got injured, right? In the dying moments of the game, he could have walked off the sideline. No, did he? Did he? We all know exactly what they did. They let him walk off at the other side. They let him walk off the long way round. Couldn't have made it any more obvious that Moss was put in charge because there could be no repercussions to him and he could do his very best to send Forest up and no one would batter an eyelid. Not because, yeah, we're all aware of what happened, but no one can do aught about it. So the joke's just sat here on us. And while we're on kind of the topic of this, I don't think our support was anything to be massively proud of. We sold the numbers, which was brilliant for a town. I don't think you can criticise that at all, but we were pretty quiet. Forest weren't much louder and only started singing when they were scoring, but at Wembley, I expected a lot better, especially from our fan base. You know, silence for a large period, some lads behind us trying to get them going and some of us lot trying to join in. No one were interested. And I hate to turn it onto us, but that's just my honest opinion and from what I take from the day. But long story short, we got robbed. And nothing's going to come of it, apart from we're going to lose players and Forest are in the Prem. You know, and you've got absolute people on Twitter saying, like, you know, you got Ali McCoy saying the Stonewallers and Jamie O'Hara just wants to be different and cool and trendy and to say they're not penalties. It's just messing my head, this. Like I say, it's going to take me a long time now to believe that football isn't predetermined and believe in the true natures of the sport that we all love. Anyone who follows football should have the opinion yesterday that at least one of those was a penalty. And I think, for the most part, one thing we are quite lucky is for once people actually agree with us. But nothing can happen to Moss because of this. But I'm going to put some tweets up on the screen now that I've seen. One is from a former a former referee who refereed for quite a bit and was said to be one of the best of his time, where he states, I'm not sure in which one this is referenced to, but that it was a penalty. So it must be for either, but it was a penalty. And another one, who I'm not going to name because it's a deleted tweet, and he's deleted it for a reason, I imagine, stating that, I think it's PGMOL, the group that fund referees, is funded by the Premier League. And we all know who the Premier League wanted in the league. His words, not mine. Make of it what you will. The silence from the refereeing group speaks thousands of words. We all know what happened. And I'm not in any way saying that we were good enough to win. Neither were Forest. We were both just as bad as each other. That game should have been in extra time. If it had been decided then, I could have gone home, I could have gone home knowing, yeah, we weren't good enough today, but we lost fair and square. But the part that hurts is nothing about this entire competition of the playoffs has been fair. We've had penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty not given. You can argue if buts and maybes we should have had a shot on target. We would have had two with proper officiating yesterday. You cannot give the final game of a referee's career, you cannot give him that game when there's £180 million as the stake. On stake, as the reward. And it speaks volumes that we've never won a game with Moss in charge, and Forest have won every game, I think, since 2005. The people in charge, the people who run it, the people, everything to do with them, they couldn't have made it more obvious who they were trying to get promoted and who they weren't. And that's why it hurts, because we didn't deserve that yesterday. You know, we were fighting against a country who wanted Forest promoted for the most part. And unfortunately, we have to bite the bullet now and carry on as if nothing happened, when everyone knows full well what unfolded yesterday. One final thing to add, and this is the only part of the video which I will reference Nottingham Forest having taken part in foul play. And all I will say on this is, their owner has been caught match fixing before. The reasons are stacking up. The reasons have stacked up. For me, couldn't have been made more obvious when Samba got injured and they didn't take him off the nearest side. Anything to run the clock down, anything to not give us a shout of getting promoted to the Premier League. And it's ruined now, like I say, my perception of fair play and of how you're supposed to play and love the sport. And it's going to take me a long time now to actually believe that referees are not influenced after seeing it on that stage. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Maybe it's raw emotion talking. But as someone who creates content over the course of the season, emotion is something that will get the better of me sometimes. And I like to call it as I see with my eyes. And this, after yesterday, after everything collectively as a group, this is how I see it with my eyes. This is how I call it. This is how I say it as my take. So that's all from me. Hope everyone had a safe trip back and a safe trip down, obviously. I wish Nottingham Forest fans who haven't been toxic the very best. We'll just have to see how we are next season. I want another promotion push personally. I think we've got to prove everyone wrong again. We'll just have to see where we're at with the squad. But this squad has got lots to be massively proud of, and I in no way, shape or form feel that any of the players are actually responsible for us losing that game at all. Because like I say, proper officiating, we've had 2 penalties. You'd back us to score both and win it. But obviously we have to be realistic. Samba's maybe a good penalty save, or maybe we'd have only scored 1. But at least the game would have been fair and we'd have had a chance to see how it would have been resulted fairly. And ultimately, we'll never get that chance. And that's the sad, harsh reality of football nowadays. That's my take. All the best, everyone. There will be a ins and outs video soon for the transfer window. And I'd like to thank everyone for the continued support over the course of the season. You guys have been absolutely fantastic for me personally. We smashed massive goals in here, and we're going to hopefully continue to do that next season. Up the town, all the best. Take care, everyone.